Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So we are just going to start. So today, friends, the topic which we selected is very, very close to my heart, and we are going to discuss about setting up an alternative investment fund in GIFT City, that is IFSC as it is called in Gujarat. I'm Rajiv Bajaj. I have been working in the field of startup ecosystem for a long time now, and I am CEO of Bajaj and Bajaj Corporate Chambers. So that's my brief introduction. As you know, that GIFT City is the only operational green smart city in India, located between Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar on the river Sabarmati, which is very well developed by our uh, Prime Minister when he was the CM of Gujarat, and it includes a good ecosystem like office spaces, residential apartments, schools, hospitals, and city in itself. And it's a walk to work kind of environment there. And it has a very conducive multi-service special economic zone, which is an exclusive domestic area. So it's like the tax haven within India, within the premises of India. So this is the best part of this city, which is having this ecosystem of setting up of AIFs. What is AIF? No, so let us understand the basic concept of AIF for those of you who may not be aware of it. So AIF is a privately pooled investment vehicle registered under SEBI. So Securities and Exchange Board of India monitors this, which collects funds from different class of investors and invest according to the investment policy as defined by SEBI, but it doesn't include the mutual funds. Number one, the mutual funds, we all know what are the mutual funds. So if the entity is a mutual fund under the definition of SEBI Mutual Fund Regulation 1996, then it will not be termed as a AIF. The family trust for the benefit of relatives, that also will not be included in the overall definition of AIF. So if there is a if there is a situation that we have the family trust. So if it is coming under the definition of relative as defined in the Companies Act, so the family trust will not be termed as AIF. And employee welfare trust. So welfare trust set up for the benefit of employees also will not be termed as AIF. Otherwise, all the pooled investment vehicles which are registered under SEBI will be termed as AIF. So I think this is very basic definition of AIFs. So what are the key benefits for registering the AIF in the GIFT City, Gujarat? One, the most important benefit is the lower operating cost or concessions in income tax, capital gain tax, dividend distribution tax, and custom duties. So it's a landlocked situation where this city is operating as a special economic zone, and the whatever investments are happening or whatever transactions are happening for the AIFs which are registered in this GIFT City, they are having the concessions on the income tax side as well as capital gain, and lots of other concessions are available. So Also, there's a competitive tax regime. So if you are registered in, Gujarat, this gift city, so you are having advantages of a competitive tax regime. You have no limits on outbound investments, so you can actually, mm, invest up to whatever is your corpus. You can invest completely as well. So there are no limitations for the investments if you are registered as a AIF in the gift city, Gujarat. And you are engaged with the unified financial regulator, which is the this IFSC, which is the authority which is controlling. So later in the slides, I'll be explaining to you what are the benefits and how this process goes. And you are permitted to borrow funds and engage in leveraging activities. So you can even leverage funds for yourself, and you can for operations and for the control of the AIF, and for uh, day-to-day operations and the activities of the AIF. You can even borrow funds, and you can of course leverage the funds from others. Enabling ecosystem for fund management with the presence of key stakeholders, including custodians and fund administrators. So the whole ecosystem is available in the Gift City, Gujarat, where you have key stakeholders who are all there to support. And also there is 100% tax exemption for Category 3 AIFs in Gift City for the transfer of specified securities if the considerations are payable in foreign currency, and all the units of AIF are held by non-residents. So it's like a heaven for the people who are non-residents, and who are who want to deploy funds in India. So they can do it seamlessly, especially in the Category 3 AIFs. And so they can avail the 100% tax exemption. No diversification limit on investments made by AIF in IFSC, that is the Gift City, Gujarat, uh, provided the investment are in line with the risk appetite of the investors and appropriate disclosures are made. So, so diversification limits are not there. Otherwise, it's a very regulated field by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. So this is another advantage. Um, no GST is applicable for services rendered in IFC, because no capital gain tax in the hands of foreign investors on transfer of any bond, foreign currency denominated equity shares, TTR, derivative units of mutual fund, AIF and IFC stock exchange. And there are concessional tax rates, which is around 4% of the tax rate of interest on IFC exchange listed bonds. So there is a whole ecosystem which is available. So there's no GST applicable. There are so many tax advantages are there. There is a concession on income tax, and for the 100% tax exemption for Category 3 AIFs. So huge benefits are there for registering as a AIF in the Gift City, Gujarat. And now let us look at what are these categories of AIFs. So Category 1, Category 2, and Category 3, and how are they divided? Who all are part of the Category 1, 2, 3? So if you look at the Category 1 AIF, it is mainly angel funds, venture capital funds, social venture funds, and infrastructure funds. So they are all can be classified in Category 1 AIF. You have to make a disclosure when you are um, applying to the SEBI for getting your AIF approved by them, in which category you are applying, and accordingly they examine your documents, and they grant you the registration according to that whether your AIF is registered in category 1 or 2 or 3, right? So in category 2, we have private equity funds, we have structured credit funds, we have debt funds, and we also have real estate funds. So so basically, there are some structured credit funds who are there for giving credits to the ecosystem in the startup or any other particular domain. And of course, debt funds and real estate funds are very clear. In category 3 AIFs, they are only long-only funds, basically for infra projects or bigger projects. And long and short funds both are covered in the category 3 AIF, and of course hedge funds, which are there for hedging the overseas transactions. So there are these are the predominant categories, which are there for the AIFs, which can be registered as per the approval of the SEBI. Now, the process of registration of AIF within the GIFT City, that is the International Financial Services Centers Authority, which is created, is that the company or a LLP or a trust or a body corporate, they have to make an application to the IFSCA, and they will verify the application, and if they find it fit, they may grant the registration certificate. And if they find that, oh, this application is having some improvements which are required, or this application doesn't meet the basic criteria of the IFCA, they may refuse the application, but always the opportunity of being heard is given to the applicant. So it's not that they simply refuse the application. They will ask you to present your case, why we should carry on with your application, and why we should go on with the application status as you have mentioned in your application itself. Now, let us look at what is the eligibility criteria of AIF, which is there for applying for this exemption or registration. The entity should be permitted to carry the activity of AIF in their memorandum and articles, or a trust deed, or a LLP deed, or in case of a company, trust and a LLP respectively. So it's basically the basic objective or object in the, whether it is in the memorandum or article of association, or it is in the trust deed, or it is in the LLP deed, should be permitting the activity of AIF. That is the basic thing which is there. The AIF should be restrained from public subscription, because the AIFs are not open to public. They are open to only institutional investors or accredited investors who are allowed to invest in these AIFs, and they deploy funds further. And the applicant, sponsor, and manager should be a proper and a competent person. So there are definitions of that who can be the applicant, who can be the sponsor, and there has to be a manager of the AIF fund. They all need to be competent person. They should not be barred from acting as a sponsor or a manager. And the composition of the management team is at least one key personnel having minimum 5-year experience in security market transactions. So that is the basic criteria. So there should be one key personnel having minimum 5-year experience in security market transaction. That's must. It's not that anybody and everybody can open AIF. You need to have people who are having competence and who have accredited knowledge about the working in the securities market. At least one key personnel with professional qualification in finance, accountancy, economics, management, capital market from a recognized university or institution. So this is also another criteria which is there for the registration of AIF. So this is one of the eligibility conditions. Should have necessary infrastructure and manpower, of course, to run the AIF activities. And of course, the investment objectives, target investors, proposed corpus, and investment style and strategy should be very clear. So you need to come up with your basic AIF document, and that document needs to be presented to the SEBI also for the approvals for registration as a AIF. Now, how the raising of funds can be done by AIF in GIFT City, SEZ, that is IFSC. One, the funds can be raised through private placement. We all understand how the private placement works. So the public subscription is restrained. So you cannot go to the public like an IPO for raising funds in case you are raising them through AIF. So that's the basic difference between a normal company raising through IPO and the AIF raising funds through, because these are the funds which are going to be deployed further in the market or in the for equity as an equity in the startup ecosystem or real estate fund, as we discussed. And so the AIF needs to prepare placement memorandum, which is a very elaborate document. And this placement memorandum should be available, and this has to be filed with IFSCA 30 days before the launch of the scheme. And based on this placement memorandum, they they allow the offer to be made, and no fees, scheme fee is payable for first scheme launched by AIF. So this is again incentive they have been given, that has been given by IFSC Gujarat, that they don't charge the fee for the first scheme launched, but after that, of course. So they are trying to promote this, setting up of AIFs in the GIFT City, Gujarat. And let me tell you, if you are, trying to up your game, if you are trying to expand your horizon in terms of, how you are going to enhance your overall activities, I think this is the time for you to look at the setting up of AIF in GIFT City, Gujarat. And of course, you can raise funds and maybe deploy funds also. So who can be investors? One, non-resident, including NRIs. So basically non-resident Indians as well as others can make investments in the AIFs which are operating from GIFT City, Gujarat. Domestic institutional investors can also, but institutional investors. So they can also, and resident individuals having net worth of more than 1 million USD, they are also can be the investors in the AIFs in GIFT City, Gujarat. So the spectrum is open, but it is not open to public. That's the basic difference. And if we look at the general investment conditions by AIF, of course, AIFs are allowed to invest in securities of company incorporated outside India, subject to RBI guidelines, because the Reserve Bank of India is very much concerned about how the securities of the company should be managed, and of course the money inflow into the country also they want to manage and regulate. So there are certain RBI FEMA guidelines which need to be taken care, and the capping limit of investment, that is 25% or 10%, not applied for AIFs in IFSC. Otherwise, for other normal AIFs, there is a capping limit on investments. And you know they are also the appropriate disclosures have been made in the placement memorandum about these capping limits. That's also very important. So the placement memorandum is like a prospectus in the uh, like in IPOs we have prospectus. Here there is a document called placement memorandum, and the AIF shall not invest in associates without approval of 75% of the investors by value in AIF. So of course they need to take the approval of the most of the investors, because it should not happen that you divert funds uh, for your personal activities or associated company activities. So that's the protection given. And you know uninvested portion of funds may be invested in higher liquidity funds like bank deposit, liquid mutual fund, treasury bills, because many a times you may be having non-deployed funds. So those non-deployed funds can be mentioned, can be kept in bank deposit, liquid mutual fund, treasury bills, etc. And AIF and IFSC are permitted to co-invest in a portfolio company through segregated portfolios by issuing a separate class of units. So that also, the condition is there that you are permitted to co-invest in a portfolio company. If you look at the taxation of AIF in IFSC, I think this is very important aspect, and that is the only benefit that why you should actually go to Gift City, Gujarat, because the business income of AIF is taxable in the hands of AIF, for which 100% tax exemption can be claimed for consecutive 10 years out of the block of 15 years. So this is a very big, uh, you know, mm, uh, advantage available, because otherwise business income is taxable, but it is taxable in the hands of AIF, and it is 100% tax exemption available for 10 years out of the block of 15 years. And that also you can choose which those 10 years you want to choose. And normally in the initial years, there may be a losses because you are not able to earn, you can't deploy funds immediately and things like that. So some people, most of the people, they choose later part of the 10 years when the income starts generating, and they start getting 100% tax exemption in that case. Also, the investors are taxed on the income from investment made in AIF as if investments are made directly by them, and they are allowed to claim losses subject to holding more than 12 months. So this is another beauty of taxation in AIF, that it is as if you are directly investing. That is the taxation in the hands of investors. And income accruing or arising or received by a non-resident investor from offshore investments through category 1 or 2 AIF is not taxable in India. And also non-residents are exempted to file from filing ITR subject to earning income from investments made in category 1 or category 2 AIF funds. And tax has been deducted on distribution made by AIF. So basically the advantages for category 1 and category 2 AIF is that, okay, as a AIF, you are having 100% exemption for for the payment of tax. And in case the investors are taxed on, you know, they are taxed as usual, that as if the investment is made directly by them. In the case of Category 3 AIF, no tax on income earned on Category 3 AIF for overseas investment made, which are attributable to non-resident investors. So this is again to attract more non-residents. There is no tax on income earned by Category 3 AIFs on overseas investments made. So that's they want to channelize the money of the non-resident investors so that it can be regulated, so they can make the investment sitting here in the overseas projects, and it will be a tax haven for them if they are making it through Category 3 AIF registered in GIFT City, Gujarat. And also, income on transfer of shares on any Indian company is liable to capital gain, as short-term capital gain is 15% and long-term capital gain is 10%. So that's that is usual as usual. That is the taxation. And income in respect of securities is taxable for Category 3 AIF at the rate of 10%. Interest on dividend and other things are taxable at 10%. And also it is 5% in case of certain rupee denominated bonds or government securities or municipal debt securities, as mentioned in Section 194 LD of the Income Tax Act. So these are the tax provisions which are there for the AIFs. And any income accruing or arising or received from Category 3 AIF on transfer of these units is exempted from tax in the hands of investor. So that is again, the investors are also benefited by these tax provisions. And of course, there is an exemption from stamp duty, security transaction tax, commodity transaction tax, for IFC, for IFSC exchange. So basically, there are lots of SOPs which are there to attract AIFs to register in the GIFT City, Gujarat. And of course, it's a tax haven for them. And the idea is to bring in money into the country and let people operate from here instead of operating from maybe US or some other countries. So this is the way of Government of India to bring in the investments and have these investment alternative investment funds operate from India. And there is a huge infrastructure appetite we have. So these funds can be operated from here, and they can also deploy in the infrastructure projects in India, or can actually act as an angel fund within India for investing in various startups and things like that. So to conclude, we will just say that GIFT City is an international financial service center which offers a favorable regulatory environment on tax benefits for setting up and operating funds. The introduction of fund management regulation by this International Financial Service Center Authority is streamlined by a fund setup process and provide flexibility for fund managers. So it's a haven for the fund managers to operate from GIFT City, Gujarat. And why I'm sharing it with all of you is that all of you should be aware that in case you become bigger, you can also have a dream of starting from the AIF or setting up a AIF in Gift City, Gujarat, and you can further deploy those funds. And of course, you need to take the SEBI approval for the various projects which you may be helping out in terms of growth. So you can set up an angel fund, you can set up a infra fund or such other funds as whatever is the area you are working in. So as we can see, the advantages of establishing funds in Gift City include unrestricted global diversification, progressive regulation, cost effectiveness, and access to diverse financial services within India. So the tax concessions are like any other SEZ framework, and they apply to the Gift City, and they want to make it as a financial hub for India. So very lots of funds are already operating from this area, and this is an attempt by Government of India to promote and bring in lots of foreign investments in India, so that the money inflow and especially the NRI money inflow can come in, and even not only NRI, others can also invest in this. So I'm open to questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Rajesh, any question?
Yeah. Hello, Rajiv. Thank you. My question is, at point of investment, like if any individual wants to invest in an AIF fund, so where he will know about that investment, like whoever has registered in SEBI, and how it will be publicized in the paper, and how an investor can know about that information. Could you throw some light on it?
So all these funds, they can. It's not. It is not a public offer. First of all, they can do it through private placement memorandum. No. So as we were discussing that they have to prepare a memorandum, no, which is shared with the. So the fundraising can be done through private placement, right? So. Private placement is, and they send individual communications or to the known the funds which are there, which are equity funds, or and also one-to-one communications are sent. The list of the AIFs registered in the SEBI is available on SEBI website. Okay, so and also if you go to Gift City, Gujarat, the moment some placement memorandum is filed, on the website it comes that this placement memorandum has been filed, and these are the conditions of the investment, and the all those documents are listed there. So it is public subscription is not sought, but otherwise the company is allowed to put this placement memorandum on their own. So AIF's website, the SEBI has the information. The Gift City SEZ IFSC website also carries all this information. So in case you are interested in as an investor, you need to keep track of this, and also they do a lot of one-to-one publicity. So the institutional investors, there is a list of institutional investors available, so they send a communication and share their placement memorandum with those institutional investors, and then they actually, so a lot of marketing activity goes in, but the publicity in terms of like an IPO, that cannot be done. That is restricted.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and the purpose is to protect the common shareholder from because this is a very unique. AIFs are unique, having unique qualities, and of course, the investment in AIF is subject to market risks, lot of market risks. So they want only the qualified institutional investors to get into the AIF investments, not the public.
Yeah. Thank you, Ji. And usually in FD we get 7% return, and in corporate ones like 10%. Actually, what will be the returns?
That really depends on the fund, what kind of deployment they are doing, what kind of further, investments they are doing, and on those investments, what kind of returns the fund is able to manage. But let me tell you, these funds, they have uh, good returns because they invest, but these are long-term investments. They invest mainly in the infra funds, or for example, they invest in startups, or they invest in real estate funds or something like that. So all these projects are having a long duration. So the returns will come maybe over a period of 5 years or 10 years horizon. But the returns are reasonably good. And again, they may vary according to the overall, how these wherever they have invested, what is the return they are getting from there. So like mutual funds, the AIFs also have a very transparent policy of sharing where the money has been invested and how much is the return being earned from there. So accordingly, they share the income with the investors.
Yeah, thank you, Ji. And I understood AF3 is that income is completely tax free, whereas
Yeah.
AF1 and 2 based on the short
Yes.
term and capital, which is yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you.
Yes. So you need to be aware where you are investing, and then category of AIF, you should be very clear. And this is when SEBI gives the approval, they make sure that the category is very well defined, and accordingly it is conveyed to the users in the or investors in the memorandum.
So
Okay.
the category 3 is only for overseas investors,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else with any questions? So, friends, I think we made an attempt to touch a very important topic, which is maybe giving lots of hope to the startups that all these AIFs can be a good source of approach for the startups for getting their angel funds. So keep an eye on if you are looking for money for your startup, keep an eye on the AIFs which are being registered in Gift City, Gujarat, or otherwise, and also start following the AIFs so that you are aware. And for the people who are already in the stock market, this is a huge opportunity to set up your own fund and be a bigger player for advisors, for valuers, for people who are actually working in the startup ecosystem. It is a very good opportunity to bring in your own AIF and raise funds. A lot of money is there in the ecosystem where people are looking for regulating their money within India, and so a lot of NRIs, they cannot directly invest in small mutual funds or some others. So they are now looking for opportunities of investing in these kind of AIFs. So better set up one and be contribute to the economy of India and into the overall ecosystem. Thank you very much. And in case you have any questions further, you can check out on CS Rajiv Bajaj on LinkedIn, and I'll be too happy to answer all your queries. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv ji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye bye, Kalashi.